What would you think if I said Aikido has grappling techniques that could stand up to any fighting system out there? What if I said that Aikido's Hijishimi and Kubishimi are among the most effective techniques in the world? Now, imagine you never heard me say those things, and instead I said that in MMA, arm bars and rear naked chokes are among the most high percentage techniques that could work on and off the mat. And that just goes to show you how much your perceptions influence your opinions, and your opinions influence what you perceive to be facts. Because the fact is, Hijishimi is an armbar, and Kubishimi is a neck choke. That's it. And the fact that these techniques exist in other martial arts is no surprise, because bottom line, there are only so many ways to control and damage a human body with another human body. There's going to be some overlap. But you can't say that Aikido altogether doesn't work when there are proven techniques that you find in other systems, and you say those systems work, but Aikido doesn't. Well, Aikido has the same techniques, so at least parts of Aikido work. And that brings us to the problem with Aikido. The problem, as I see it, is the perception of Aikido. You see, there are practical schools and spiritual schools, let's call them. There are those who teach a practical approach to real-life self-defense, and then there are those that teach more the esoteric philosophical side of it. And it's just a matter of which way they choose to focus, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with either one. But over time, what you get is people going out looking for the spiritual experience, getting that spiritual experience. Maybe they go on to teach it, and everything goes fine up until somebody comes into the dojo and wants to learn practical self-defense and then finds it lacking. And those people who are self-aware and critical enough of what they're learning will probably just move on, go someplace else where they do teach a more practical approach. They'll probably learn a more generally practical kind of martial art, probably MMA or BJJ. And that's fine too. But the big problem comes in with those people who stick with it and go through the whole program, maybe even go on to teach themselves, and still believe that they've learned a practical system of self-defense, having never actually tested it, when in reality they were just going to one of those more spiritual, kind of cultural experience types of schools. And then, because these people have invested so much time and money and effort into it, they don't want to give it up. They don't want to admit that, they basically wasted their life. So they fool themselves into believing that they do know something that they don't. And then they'll pass that same delusion on to their students. And that's how you end up with ineffective Aikido being presented as effective Aikido. And, well, that's how we end up where we are now. The practical schools do exist. They're just becoming more and more rare because most of the people who want to learn Aikido they're going for the experience that they expect, which, due to what's commonly presented, what they expect ends up being the more spiritual, esoteric, not really martially effective style, okay? Again, if that's what you want, that's fine. All I'm saying is be honest with your students. Be clear about what type of school you're running, and if you want to go the practical way, do that. And if you're already doing that, please film a class. If you learned that way, please film yourself sparring, because we need to get that content out there. We need to get more examples of practical Aikido being used and being practiced and being taught so that people know that it exists. And that brings me to the challenge portion of this video. Okay, so I have been championing this practical Aikido thing for a while now. And people are getting kind of sick of me telling them all this stuff and not proving it. I've done some videos showing some practical application techniques, showing how we do the variations to, make them more effective in a self-defense situation. And people have even, gone so far as to tell me that that's not even Aikido, that Aikido doesn't have striking, that Aikido doesn't have grappling, that Aikido doesn't have limb destruction. And it does, but unfortunately, there's not too many schools teaching it that way, and there are some people who wholeheartedly believe that it's not a proper part of Aikido, that it goes against the very basic tenets of Aikido to even practice that way, to even think that way. And these are Aikido practitioners, Aikido teachers. And so we have this huge schism in the community now, thanks to these perceptions. We can both exist. We should both exist. We just should also be clear about what our intentions are, what our curriculum is, and what it is that we're actually teaching so that the students can get the experience that they're looking for. So, the challenge. In addition to telling me that it's just flat not Aikido, which, you're just going to have to drop that and accept my only formal training has been in Aikido, ergo whatever I do is Aikido, even if it challenges your perceptions of it, because that's the point. So, if we can accept that, we can move forward with this. I live about 2 hours drive from Memphis, Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee, or Corinth, Mississippi. If you want to see this happen, go on Patreon. I'll put the link in the description. Contribute to our gas money. It's a 4-hour round trip. Okay? If you want to be a part of this, if you have access to facilities, leave me a comment. Because we're going to do a sparring session, or however you want to format it. We'll talk about it. We'll lay down the ground rules, and we'll explain that when we do the video. My partner, she says that she has complete faith in me. And I think that's really sweet. Because honestly, I'm out of shape, out of practice, and I'm nervous as heck about it. But I've had so many people saying, well, just spar. Just go out there and prove it to us. Show us this practical Aikido that you're always talking about. And I'd rather go ahead and do this than have people continue to question my integrity. Yeah, like I said, I'm a bit nervous, but, I'll do it, and hopefully I can at least show some good fundamentals. And, maybe I'll inspire some other people to take up the challenge. Maybe they'll do better than me. I don't know. But, like I said, go to Patreon, contribute to our fund, and contact me if you want to spar with an Aikidoka and see what happens. Thanks.